Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. Today is the anniversary of the birth in 1925 of David Jenkins, who became eventually Bishop of Durham, and is best known for his controversial comments, particularly about the virgin birth and the resurrection. He wasn't naturally a radical or a person who courted controversy. He said what he wanted was for Christianity to be talked about in pubs, and of course that's what tended to happen, because once he became known for this, his remarks were reported in the press, often misquoting him. He did say that if God had wanted to organise a virgin birth, he could have done so, but David Jenkins, didn't think that he did. But he didn't say that the resurrection is just a conjuring trick with bones. What he actually said was the resurrection is not just a conjuring trick with bones. The way he described the resurrection was as a series of events and experiences by those who had believed in Jesus over a period that convinced them that he was alive, that his influence, that his personality, that his teaching still lived and still had power. And that's what they experienced and what they described as the resurrection. But of course, that's not how it's described in the scriptures. And we simply, I think, just don't know whether the tomb was empty, whether Mary was impregnated by Joseph or not. We simply do not know. And I think to base our belief on one interpretation of those events or another it is not healthy, either to believe that it was exactly as described in the scriptures or that it was totally unmiraculous. Neither of those are positions that we can hold with absolute certainty. I think the important point for the Christian faith is not the literal meaning of those events, but what has happened over the course of centuries to that faith, the way it has brought to so many people new life, new energy, saved lives in the spiritual sense, the way in which it had an influence for good, an awful lot of influence for harm, of course, as well, not deniable. But over the centuries, and in the personal experience of so many people, including me, the confidence that Jesus is alive, that God was active in him, and that he is still active in the world, does not depend on there being an empty tomb. And I don't know what your belief is, if you have any, but I hope you won't be put off Christianity by thinking that you have to believe in what seems to be unbelievable, the virgin birth and the resurrection as described, because I don't think that is what the Christian faith depends upon. It depends upon a belief in the power and love of a God whose life was expressed in Jesus and continues to be expressed in the way Jesus' Spirit lives on.